Don't buy that land till you understand this. In buying a property in Nigeria, there are certain factors to consider. The first factor is when a person is selling a property to you, is the person selling in their personal capacity or are they selling via a representative? If the person selling to you is selling via a representative, you are going to need to see a registered power of attorney authorizing the said representative to sell that land on behalf of the owner of that property. This even applies to where a spouse is selling a property on behalf of the other spouse. The second thing to consider when buying a property in Nigeria is the title documents. Now, for a certificate of occupancy, you need to understand that a certificate of occupancy is only good as it relates to no other person has a better title to that land. What does that mean? If a person has a stronger title than your certificate of occupancy, you can lose that land. So you also need to do more research, even though you see that the vendor has a certificate of occupancy. The third thing to consider when buying a property in Nigeria, if the vendor tells you that his original documents are missing, there are two major things you want to look out for. Is there an affidavit to that effect? Is there a police report to that effect? I would also advise that even though an affidavit and a police report are presented, you should still do further research to ensure that the said property is genuine. The fourth thing to consider when buying a property in Nigeria, you need to check the relevant land registry in your state to ensure that the property that you are acquiring is not government owned or owned by another individual who already has a certificate of occupancy over the said land. This is a must. If you mistakenly purchase a property belonging to the government, you are going to be treated as a squatter and you will be forcefully evicted from that property. You don't want this, do you? So ensure that you check with the relevant land registry in your state. The fifth thing to consider when buying a property in Nigeria is some people usually go to cyber cafes to get these documents drafted. You fail to contact a lawyer to register and draft your documents. Those documents will be deemed to be invalid and they are just a mere piece of paper. You cannot use them to do anything for the purpose of that property. Now, the sixth thing you want to consider, you want to take a physical visit to the land and you want to ask neighbors and owners of adjoining properties about the situation of that land. You can ask them about the owner of the land, and most importantly, you want to find out whether there is litigation over that land. That means, is there a dispute over this land? Is there a court case over this land? Another thing to consider before acquiring a property in Nigeria, when your lawyer eventually drafts your document relating to the land that you are purchasing, you want to register that land immediately. If you fail to register that document showing your title to that land, what is going to happen is that document is going to be inadmissible in law for the purpose of anything that could come up regarding that land. The only thing is that it could serve as a receipt, but it's going to be inadmissible in law. When buying a property in Nigeria, there are three categories of persons you want to have by your side. The first is a law firm, a real estate firm, and a firm of surveyors. Having these three people by your side greatly enhances your chance of having a free and fair property transaction. If you follow all that I've said in this video, you should have a glitch-free process to acquiring a property in Nigeria.